I flew into Duluth, Minnesota, and had an interview with the search committee at the College of St. Scholastica. We won't forget that because it was 55 degrees and a wind coming off the lake, and we got back to the hotel room after the first series of interviews, and Kay said to me, "I sure hope they don't like you."
I laughed when Bruce told that story because it went particularly well, of course. Bruce was offered the job. He had a great tenure at Scholastica, and I think Kay would say, right move for us. Glad we came to Duluth, weather notwithstanding, and both of them have come to love Duluth.
Bruce has the distinction of being the first lay president of the College of St. Scholastica. That already is a big responsibility.
And Bruce was the president of the college, and I got to know him pretty well then, of course, with trustee meetings and serving on committees, and I always thought very highly of him at that time, and of course I still do.
But I think what's really special is the contribution, the commitment that Bruce has made through the years to Duluth, to the Blanna Foundation, to northeastern Minnesota. So the question is, northeastern Minnesota a better place because of Bruce? Yes, and there's a lot of evidence.
I think of Apex, where he was a founding father. He was one of the early recipients of the Lavovitz School of Business Person of the Year Award for the region. And it really speaks to a guy who is ethical, who's charitable, who really operates from the heart.
Stable, consistent throughout many changes and many different lives of elite.
So I think that's the greatest legacy that Bruce will pass on to the board, is the importance of respecting and protecting the company's culture.
It's been amazing. I think Bruce himself would say, wow, was that ever quite a ride?
In the whole, I think he's got a well-rounded leadership mantle that he should wear with pride, and we thank him for that.
And I think he was genuinely proud to be a part of, not only being a part of the board, but being a representative of Minnesota Power and of elite wherever he went.
Bruce has been a friend, a mentor, a colleague. I can't even come up with enough adjectives to explain how I feel about him and how much I'm going to miss him.
And I will certainly miss his style of leadership of the board, because he truly gets the best out of everyone on the board.
That is, I think, what Bruce leaves without having to state it publicly, without having to preach about it, without having to teach about it. He led by example.
Well, welcome to this very special milestone for the College of St. Scholastica and the Stender family, as we name our School of Business and Technology in honor of Dr. Bruce Stender. My name is Rick Revore, and as of today, I serve as Dean of the Stender School of Business and Technology. So, I really like that new name. I organize a speaker series each year for the Sandbolt Center for Ethical Leadership here at the college, and I'm always looking for good speakers to visit campus. 5 years ago, I met with Bruce for the first time to ask him for speaker recommendations. We had breakfast and discussed the speaker series. Lining up great speakers got a lot easier after I met Bruce. I would send an email to a leader in the community like Al Hodnick or Bethany Owen or George Goldfarb or Lisa Bodine, and Bruce would respond by saying, "You would be an excellent speaker to inspire CSS students." And magically, they all said yes. As a result, over the past 5 years, we've had a number of excellent speakers who have met with our students, and they've shared life lessons that they've learned along the way, and they've inspired our students to live and act with integrity in everything that they do. This is just one example of Bruce's impact on students in our community. We are here today because of Bruce's exceptional contributions to St. Scholastica and to our entire region. Bruce has served and led several organizations in the Northland, and he has mentored many leaders, and many of those leaders are with us right now. Bruce has generously given to St. Scholastica through his leadership as past president, through advice and support over the years, and through financial gifts. I would like to thank Tom and Mimi Stender and Bruce and Kay Stender for their investment in the future of the Stender School of Business and Technology. Bruce and Kay funded the renovation of 3 classrooms this summer that were updated with the latest technology, and they've created a collaborative learning environment for our students and faculty. Tom and Mimi Stender made an investment that has established a foundation for future growth in our school and is propelling our school forward. As part of their support, they would like to honor 2 key people in their life. And so one of the renovated classrooms is named in honor of Sister Kathleen Hofer, and another is named in honor of Bill Burns. And you'll be invited to see these classrooms during the reception. In addition to the Stenders, I would like to thank all of our donors who have contributed to the school. Your gifts are creating new opportunities for our students, faculty, and staff. These gifts are providing scholarships for our students, and we're updating our classrooms and facilities. We're in the process of pursuing specialized business school accreditation. We will expand our experiential learning opportunities for our students through mentoring, internships, and student and faculty research. We're exploring and creating new programs. All of these efforts align with our mission to prepare students for responsible living and meaningful work. When I think about how one person can make a difference and how they can have a positive impact on people, organizations, and an entire community, I think of Bruce. Bruce, we're so fortunate to have your name on our school. Now I'd like to introduce our president, Dr. Barbara McDonald.
Good afternoon and welcome to all the family and friends and supporters, our wonderful students in the audience, everyone on stage. We're very happy to have you today here at St. Scholastica. This is a very special day for us here at the college. We're gathered today to recognize those who have made this celebration possible as we name the School of Business and Technology in honor of President Emeritus Bruce Stender. I feel a very special sense of history in this moment. Bruce was, in fact, in his first year of presidency when I started my own educational journey here at St. Scholastica. Through his presidency and the decades since, Bruce has had an enduring positive impact on the college, and his legacy will continue on through the school. I want to congratulate and thank my predecessor, President Colette Geary, for her work with the Board of Trustees to name the school and to secure the first gift that renovated the classrooms on the 3rd floor of Tower Hall that Rick mentioned. Unfortunately, Colette was not able to join us today due to a family commitment in Washington, D.C., but she sends her best regards on this very important occasion. I'm also very grateful to the board for approving the naming, which brings us to today. For those of you who know Bruce personally, you know how important family is to him, not only the St. Scholastica family, but more importantly, his wife, Kay, their children, their spouses, as well as their grandchildren. And I would like to thank the entire Stender family for their outstanding support of the college's mission. Can we give them a round of applause? In tandem with the naming of the School of Business and Technology, the college set out to raise $2 million for the school over a 2-year period. The response to date of donors, business leaders, and friends of the Stenders has truly been amazing. I'm very pleased to report that in just 8 months, we have received more than $1.7 million in gifts and commitments. Congratulations. In a few moments, there will be a special gift announcement. Generosity such as this is a strong testament to the importance of business education based on ethical leadership and the importance of the Stenders to the Twin Ports community. Naming of the school forever links the College of St. Scholastica with one of our region's most visionary leaders and families. The Stender School of Business and Technology will not only increase awareness and appreciation of our business programs, but it will also elevate the brand of the entire college and strengthen our ability to provide a high-quality education for future generations of students. Bruce, Kay, Tom, Mimi, and the entire family, thank you for giving your name to be part of St. Scholastica and for making this amazing day possible. I also offer my sincere thanks to all who are supporting the Stender School of Business and Technology. You are making a real difference in our ability to offer our students a Catholic Benedictine education, providing intellectual and moral preparation for responsible living and meaningful work. So thank you, Bruce, and thank you all for being with us today as we celebrate this occasion.
Well, I'm pleased to introduce three leaders who have worked closely with Bruce: Mark Leibovitz, Kathy Annette, and Al Hodnick. Mark.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Rick. And good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me personally and on behalf of the Leibovitz family to say a few words about Bruce Stender. We like Bruce a lot. Bruce has made a big difference in our lives, just like he has done for so many students, friends, businesses, and our community over so many years. Thank you to the College of St. Scholastica and the Board of Trustees for recognizing Bruce and Kay by naming the school the Stender School of Business and Technology. It's a fitting and enduring honor, and it's completely in line with the mission and the culture that this college aspires to. Bruce has been a generous mentor to me and a role model ever since I started my job search after college in 1985. He introduced me to his connections business leaders in Minneapolis, encouraged me to recognize and pursue opportunities that led to my most formative work experiences, and he gave me a lot of feedback and confidence in networking, and it made a big difference. Bruce and my father Joel, of course, worked together for many years, and Bruce put in place much of the foundation for what is Leibovitz Enterprises and Lion Hotel Group today. We're also fortunate to have a culture that values decency and consistent hard work, and we've got team members that know each other well and really care for each other. Several of our current team members, in fact, at Leibovitz Enterprises were hired by Bruce, including our partner and operating president, Mark Emmel. Bruce always knew how to find and develop great people. He's also made a big difference in his communities. He led, as chair, the Blandon Foundation through a time of transition and challenge. He led this college as a young president, which you saw in the video, the college's first non-ordained leader through a period of growth and balanced budgets that set in motion key elements of the success that brought us here today. Bruce and Kay every day demonstrate that grace and love really do make life better, even in the face of life's most difficult challenges. And I know everyone here joins in thoughts and prayers for their journey with Kathy. We're lucky, all of us, to know and be blessed with Bruce's generous service, hopeful and positive example, and constructive leadership. He's the truest example of someone who leaves whatever community, organization, person, or simple interaction better than he found it. And he's a role model for all of us who want to make a difference. Congratulations to Bruce and Kay and Tom and Mimi, and congratulations to the community of St. Scholastica on a great choice that's going to serve you well in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. It's a wonderful day when someone such as Bruce receives this honor and recognition for life work. A school that's not only named after you, and that's like wow, and I have to tell you that there's a group, your fan club in Grand Rapids, which is the Blandon Foundation staff, says wow. And you got a round of applause you didn't even know about just in the past couple of weeks. But this school also will reflect values and commitment that you've displayed for so many for so long. Bruce's role in making the Blandon Foundation the foundation it is today cannot be overstated. He was part of the Blandon Foundation from 1984 to 2011, serving as a board member, chairman of the board, and as a residuary trustee. Bruce, your fingerprints are all over, from values that demand integrity and stewardship, to learning, that's so much part of who we are, the power of relationships, and last but not least, the value of including and welcoming diversity as we seek equity in the communities we serve. What a blueprint you left us and what you're leaving here. And your impact continues. Itasca Community College, St. Scholastica, and Stender School of Business and Technology, and the Blandin Foundation are exploring ways to support the community by instituting a Stender speaking series that will feature ways to bring people in to speak and lead conversations on topics that impact Grand Rapids and rural communities. More to come on this exciting venture. Personally, Bruce was a bulldog, not in the Duluth way, but he was a bulldog in really persuading me over 30 years ago to become involved in philanthropy. And I have to tell you, I did resist. What could a young Native American woman, physician with no philanthropic experience, bring to the Blandin Foundation board? Also, I found out that I would be the youngest person to ever sit on that board, and thought to myself, there you go. Youth, inexperience, my graceful out. Well, Bruce, then you said you were the youngest ever to be president at St. Scholastica, and that was no excuse to try to do something different and new and exciting. You said that my voice was needed to bring to the foundation different points of view. I knew that there were others out there that had way more experience in this field. Bruce, you convinced me that I would add value. Being the only person of color on that board was daunting, but I looked at where the Blandin Foundation board and the organization is now. Multiple voices and differences now sit at the table. Different worldviews and opinions and ideas, where commitment to integrity and honesty and stewardship and learning and leadership and inclusion and equity, leaning heavily on relationships, are core to who we are and what we do. Does this sound familiar? Thank you, Bruce, for all that you've done, and thank you, St. Scholastica, for bestowing this honor on such a deserving, wonderful person.
Well, thank you for having me here today. And on behalf of the Elite Board, many of which are up there and over here, including Heidi Jimerson, our lead director, Bethany Owen, Elite's new president and director, Jim Houlihan, who served on the board for a long time from Grand Rapids, George Goldfarb over here, of course, who you saw on the video, Sandy Sandbolt, who had a hand in Bruce Stender coming to our board, retired, and Mr. Stender himself, longtime director and chair of the board. And if I've missed anybody from Elite that slipped in the director's sense, I apologize. I do want to recognize too all the retirees that are with us today from Elite, longtime colleagues of the company and of Bruce, and also the many active employees today here at the company who came out to be with us on this great occasion for Kay and for Bruce. Bruce's legacies in the college is sort of well known, and as Kathleen said, fingerprints can be found on just about sort of everything Bruce has touched here in the region. What's perhaps, sort of less well known in the business context is the impact that Bruce had and continues to have in some ways on the Elite fortunes, the Elite board, and its whole governance thesis over the years. Bruce was recruited to the Elite board by Sandy Sandbolt in 1995, and Bruce went on to serve and impart his business wisdom and values, savvy, for nearly 20 years. Bruce also served as chairman of the Elite board during a particular period of transition in 2004 and 2005, somewhat of a rare, rarefied situation in and of itself. And Bruce wasn't the CEO or the president of the company, which is so often the case, but during that critical period of transition, Bruce served as the chair of the board. Elite had just spun off one of its largest enterprises, Odessa, And half the board, half the directors, in essence, went to Indianapolis, and the other half stayed here. And so the board needed to be rebuilt. And they faced a task of rebuilding the board in a changing context like that. And Bruce, working very closely with Heidi and other peers at the time on the board, including Jim, led that very important period of transition and transformation inside the company. And in addition to rebuilding the board in a classic sense, Bruce instilled a deeper sense of best practice governance within Elite. Best practice governance consists of several key attributes, including actively recruiting strong, diverse, and well-qualified directors, which Elite certainly has, selecting top leadership to run the enterprise, to develop strategy, and to manage risk, to ensure principled decision-making, and a balanced stakeholder view. How often have we heard that now in the last 2 or 3 months, not only in business schools, but everywhere else? Where's the balance in corporations? And Bruce assured that we had that. Ensure a strong tone at the top, with an emphasis on integrity and ethical dealing. And, of course, defining roles, responsibilities, evaluating performance, and having a good succession plan. And how often have we heard, either in a for-profit sense or in a non-profit sense, when there's a crisis, a scandal at Volkswagen, or some sort of issue out at PG&E in California, or perhaps even in an upstart company like Tesla, where Elon Musk is having all of his fits and starts, how often have we heard, where was the board? From investors, from customers, from regulators, from employees. Where was the board? So it's fitting, and Bruce could write a book about it, both in a for and nonprofit sense, and his governance and leadership from Elite from 1995 to 2014 cannot be overstated. Therefore, it's fitting on this occasion that naming of the business school after Bruce and the Stender family, that Elite itself present a gift to the college. It gives me great pleasure to announce that Elite will be gifting $125,000 to the college for the purpose of creating the Elite boardroom inside the Stender Business School. Beyond badly needed space for more student collaboration, it's our hope that the room will serve as a resource center and a wellspring for interactive curriculum on the role and the importance of the board, on best practice governance, and to further bolster the need for ethical and principled tone at the top leadership that has been fostered by the Sandbolt Ethics Chair. And as I was talking to Rick earlier, we don't see this as two distinct features inside the college. We see them uniformly linked with each other. And Bruce, we look forward to developing that curriculum with you. And as I said to the fellow directors today, we look forward to you speaking occasionally within this context here to business school students, not only about the role of the board, but about ethical dealing, integrity, and sort of what the board actually needs to be doing, both in a for and nonprofit sense. So, President McDonald, business school leadership and students, we look forward to partnering with you. Bruce, on a personal note, I've talked to you about raising corporate sons. It's fun to run a public company up here in Duluth, and Elite is one of the larger, of course, in that context in the state. But it's a big drink of water when you step into a role like this, and Bethany's stepping into the role soon now. But in my case, you were a mentor, a guide, and a good source of feedback when I was ascending into a further step into this role. And on that personal note, I want to thank you for all that you did for me. So congratulations to you and Kay, Tom and Mimi, and congratulations to the College of St. Scholastica. President McDonald, if you'd come up, I'd like to present this check to you.
Thank you, Al, and to the Elite Board of Directors for that incredible gift and investment in our students. I'd like to welcome student Nick Anderson, class of 2021, to share some remarks.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicholas Anderson, and I'm an accounting and finance major here at the college. In addition, I play the violin in the string orchestra. I'm active in student government here, and I'm the president of the accounting club. I was born and raised here in Duluth, Minnesota, where I went on to graduate from Denfeld High School. I chose to attend the College of St. Scholastica due to the small class sizes, the hospitable environment, and the opportunity to continue to engage in my faith. I've had an incredible 2 years here at the college, although this semester, my learning experience has been heightened to new levels, as I am fortunate to have a total of 4 classes in the newly renovated classrooms. The updated classrooms are freshly painted and have the latest technology for professors and students to use alike. The classrooms are great for working on all of our group projects. For example, in quantitative business analysis, we're able to split into groups and allow each group to present simultaneously on different televisions, allowing us to compare and contrast each other's work. The ability to engage with multiple screens takes cohesion to the next level. In addition, the new televisions are more accommodating for those with visual impairments, as those students are no longer required to sit at the front of the classroom in order to have a good learning experience. This contributes to a more inclusive learning atmosphere here at the college. Lastly, the portable whiteboards are very helpful in assisting those that are considered hands-on learners. In conclusion, these classrooms have made it so that regardless of what technique fits your learning style, one can meet those standards here at CSS. I'd like to provide a warm thank you to the Stenders for making these new classrooms possible. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Dr. Bruce Stender to the podium.
Is the right word wow? I think so. I think in my head I probably have condensed these remarks at least 7 or 8 times, trying to think, what should I say and how should it be said? I really like, Mark Leibovitz, what you said about being the first non-ordained. I used to say the first non-religious. I have a new moniker now as the first non-ordained president of the College of St. Scholastica. Also, I've been given 7 minutes. I always thought 7 minutes was about appropriate for a good homily. So I will try to keep it to 7 minutes. This obviously is a very special day for our entire family, and we are most appreciative and humbled that the Board of Trustees would grant this honor. I'm thankful for the 1974 Presidential Search Committee. I love those shirts. When they walked in, I thought, wow, I need one of those shirts. In 1974, the search committee was willing to take a risk on a 32-year-old dean of the college, dean of Maryville College in St. Louis. And it started a journey for the Stender family that we've enjoyed ever since. We met a young lawyer by the name of Bill Burns on our first or second trip up. He wrote the first contract, the first presidential contract for the non-ordained. Our family is represented here today. Obviously, Tom and Mimi are here. Their son, JB, who's a 3M'er, and daughter, Cece, at East. Bailey is a Belmont University student, also on the West Coast, living her dream in acting and musical professional. Laura and Brad are here with their son, Will, who's a senior at Edina High School, and Kate, their daughter, is not here. She's in nursing at TCU. Mimi's parents, John and Patty Bailey, are here also. And they're not only in-laws, but great personal friends, as well as with whom we share grandchildren. And a big surprise today, which I just simply am overwhelmed, my brother Tom and my nephew Jeff walked in just totally unannounced, which was just wonderful. And of course, we have family back in Portland. Michael is in Portland, Oregon, and we have Kathy and Bob, and we thank you for your prayers and support for Kathy and for her husband Bob during this time. I want to share with you just a little bit about why we did what we did. Kay and I, Tom and Mimi, decided to contribute, invest in the School of Business and Technology. Actually, it was son Tom who proposed the idea to Kay and me. He knew we had a legacy gift for the college at the time of our passing. Yet, Mom and Dad, wouldn't it be more meaningful to contribute while we were alive? This also gave us the opportunity to share with our grandchildren the importance of philanthropy, the importance of giving while we can enjoy, if you will, the fruits of their labor made possible by an investment. After all, Tom said, it was the college that brought you to Duluth, and it was the building block that created a wonderful home life and a terrific professional life that touched so many areas, a real blessing. So he began initiating conversations with Dean Revore and Colette Gary. And he said, if you and Mom contribute, Mimi and I will too. I checked with our financial advisor, who happens to be in the crowd today, our son-in-law, Brad. And I said, Brad, what do you think? And Brad said, go for it. And so Colette then traveled to Destin with Rick, and they proposed the concept. Rick and Chris Mueller professionally designed the proposal, and we're all in. Now, nothing could be more important or meaningful to me than to see women and men educated to become future ethical leaders and managers in both the profit and the nonprofit world. Establishing the Sandbolt Center for Ethical Leadership, which fosters ethical awareness and ethical decision-making skills among students, integrated with the key Benedictine values, which makes for a wonderful education for future managers. The Benedictine values that we have here are contemporary values that begin in the 6th century and have been passed down through the ages. The elite investment that Al presented today for professional training of board members for all types of organization is extremely important in our environment of polarization. We need board members who understand their role of creating, funding, protecting the mission of an organization and the care and feeding of the CEOs. Board members do not run organizations. Board members protect the mission and the CEO that allows the CEO to say, go until we say stop. I asked Rick during these discussions, what does the faculty want to accomplish in the next 5 years? What kind of capital do you need to begin the process? The transformational nature of the School of Business and Technology's faculty commitment to achieving the goals set forth made the sale, and we were off and running. Colette Gary and Rick deserve a lot of credit for creating the opportunity, and President Barbara McDonald, with her experience and regional background, leads the Stenders to feel confident that this is the right moment for the SBT to move forward. In closing, let me share that we wouldn't be here today if not for meeting Sister Joan Brown at a higher education meeting in Chicago in the summer of 1974. The then President Frank Shea said, there's a person I want you to meet, as we were standing in line at the Chicago Hilton. and the rest, through some mystery, serendipity, and good luck, is sort of history. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Joe Leibovitz inviting me to join him as mentor, partner, boss, and friend on an incredible business journey that has lasted for 38 years, continuing my great partnership with both Mark and Jennifer Leibovitz and Mark and Heather Emmel. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Aaron Sandbo inviting me to stand for election to the Minnesota Power Elite Board, 19 years of service, and working with people like Don Schipper and Al Hodnick, whom I consider to be one of the finest CEOs I've ever met. And for you aspiring young women, here today, you too can become a leading corporate executive. Just ask Bethany Owen about her journey that she shared with you in the Sandbolt series. She's a phenomenal leader. You're going to hear more about her as time goes on. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for 25 years of service with the Blandin Foundation and working with leaders like Paul Olson, Jim Houlihan, and Dr. Kathleen Annette. And finally, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, Kay, for Tom and Mimi and all the Stenders, and the desire that for all the Stenders to come, they will be as committed to CSS as we have been for the last 45 years. Vivant St. Scholastica.
You're all invited to the third floor of Tower Hall for the plaque unveiling and reception. We'll have tours of the renovated classrooms where our students and faculty will be presenting. On display at the reception are resolutions honoring Bruce from the Minnesota State Senate and from Congressman Pete Stauber. Also on display is a resolution from Duluth Mayor Emily Larson declaring today Bruce W. Stender Day. I now ask Sister Beverly Rawe, prioress of the St. Scholastica Monastery, to close our program with a blessing.
It's my honor to be here today, Bruce, to honor you. Creator God, we praise and give you thanks for your many gifts and the creation of all that is good. We come today to celebrate and ask your blessing on the renovated space and the naming of the School of Business and Technology. We ask your blessing as we honor Bruce Stender, his wife Kay, Tom and Mimi, and all the Stender family members for their ongoing support and friendship. May the Stender School of Business and Technology stand as a testament to Bruce Stender's vision, dedication to excellence, and modeling of the Benedictine values through ethical servant leadership. May this space vibrate with the energy and enthusiasm of the students, faculty, and business leaders who will work together to ensure that the mission of this school is achieved to produce thoughtful, ethical business leaders who will embrace diversity and new challenges and lead with innovative ideas to change the world. Compassionate God, through the intercession of St. Scholastica and St. Benedict, bless the Stender School of Business and Technology and all who come and go there. May they know peace, growth in wisdom, knowledge, and compassion as they prepare for their service to others. We ask in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.